Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. Microphone is on. Good, I didn't forget it. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. I hope your Thanksgiving weekend was a blast. It's Cyber Monday. I don't know what the hell that means. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager during the dawn of the internet, cyber had a much different meaning. Much like sexting is a thing today, cybering was a thing in my day too. So Cyber Monday for me sounds a little weird. It's kind of like FTW now stands for the win. When I was a kid, FTW stood for something completely different. So seeing people like, yeah, FTW, and I'm like, yeah, FTW. I don't think you know what that means, but different generations, different thoughts, I guess. It's Cyber Monday. Today I've been working on the software. So I want to ask you, because I know so significant number, yeah, a significant number of you are software engineers or at least QA guys who can probably look at code and say, that's garbage. And today I posted this picture on Twitter. I'll put it up here. What you're looking at is all the functions that make my software tick. And I'm a functional guy. I don't write a whole lot of object-oriented code because it just doesn't click for me. And for this type of data processing type thing, there's not a whole lot of room for me to really create objects, because it's all just SQL. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably am. But regardless, what I need to know is, these are my functions, right? So, for instance, here I have some unique functions that pull things from specific tables. So, this function, for instance, looks up a site in the site table based on organizational code. So, I have three layers. I have organization, I have site, and then I have user. All right. So, this will take organization, and it'll return a list of sites. And then I have, here's one that returns a list of organizations. So these are individual little things, right? The rest of these, what I have here, these are all related to the, let's go simpler. We'll start with this one. This is where I need your thoughts, your opinions, because I want to try to write well-maintainable code. That's always been my goal. And if we had the discussion about why I don't like the various JS frameworks, is because they're not human readable. You really have to know what you're looking at to even figure out where things are pointing, where resources are saved, all that sort of stuff. The reason I like the SQL is because it's not hidden in the HTML. It stands out very plainly when you look at it with a text editor. So call me old school, right? Keep it simple, stupid. So what I have here is, these are all the functions that I have written for some odd reason to do stuff to the users table. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 functions here to do things to a user table. Why? I don't know. Part of the reason I printed this out is I can't, when this stuff is in my IDE, I have a really hard time looking at it. I really have a really hard time realizing that, I've already written that function. It's saved over here somewhere. So what I've been doing is, for one, all of these functions used to exist in 2 functions files. I had a main functions file, and then I had an admin functions file. So unless you were an admin, those functions didn't load, so you couldn't even touch those. I guess technically, no, you couldn't. These are all saved in a non-web-facing folder, so a normal person couldn't navigate to these and do anything. And the thing is, why do I have 5 things that manipulate the user table? Well, here I have a thing that says get single user. It does exactly what it says. I put in an ID, and it goes and gets that user's information. Here I have one that says get users sorted. And this one goes and grabs all the users for a particular organization and or site, so it filters and it returns all the users for that organization and or site. And I have another one that does the same thing, but it doesn't sort them. And I think that was because I wrote a generic sort. I wrote get users sorted and then realized, why don't I write a generic sorting algorithm that I can just put anything through? So I did that and never went and deleted it. So those two can be removed. But here I have, so this gets a list of users. This gets a single person. All of these do things like this one is an edit user. This lets an admin go in and change a user's settings. This one is user's profile. This is what the user uses to edit their settings. This one is deleting a user, which is really just a glorified version. The question is, I don't know how enterprise software is written because I've never written it. So this I'm making up. And I don't know, is it more useful to have clearly defined functions that do this one specific task well, or should I wrap all this together? These three in particular, edit user, user's profile, and delete user, should these all be one function? And so whatever I pass to it, the function can decide, oh, well, he gave me this and this, that means I need to do this. Which traditionally I've done with just a bunch of if statements. So if this and this, I'll do this. If not, I'll do this. If not, I'll do this. I don't know if that's even correct. I need help. I don't know I don't know where I should be reading to learn how to write better functions, because I want this to be useful to somebody else in the future. Right now it's useful to me. Right now I have verbose-ish function names, so I know what they do, and I don't have, I'm not saying I don't write comments, but I don't write comments. So my function names tell me essentially what I'm supposed to be doing. But I think I could do it better. I think I could write better functions that can do more, and take some of the logic out of the front end. So currently the front end has to decide which of these things to use based on what page I'm loading or whatever. Instead, I could do the logic on the back end, just call whatever. Go get me a user with this ID, or go get me a user based on this county. I have to figure that part out. Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. Whatever you say I'm to do, I'm going to do it. Not true. But I'm going to at least take your ideas into consideration. So, sorry for the super technical stuff for all you non-super technical people, but I'm really trying to make headway on this. I got my business cards in last week. I got all my business documents are in, my tax form and all that stuff, so I'm really excited to get going with that. And I really need to just bust it out. There's so much more that I want to do with it. And a lot of this code that I wrote is designed in a way that if somebody screws something up, I can go manually fix it. So I don't do a ton of error checking. I, of course, protect myself against SQL injection and all that sort of stuff. But I don't do a whole lot of verifying that what the user put in is useful information. Because typically the user doesn't have the ability to input stuff. The user is just clicking boxes, and those boxes they can't change the value. Again, they could, and I need to sanitize the data before I do anything crazy. So that's going to be a lot of work too. But step one is I need to refactor all of my functions and clean them up so that they make sense. Do I need to have one function that gets a user, one function that edits a user, and one function that gets lists of users? So I have 3 functions for each of my tables? Or do I need to have these like extremely specific functions? I'm not sure. That's what I need your help with. So thank you for being here. As always, thank you for listening to my nonsense today. I really do appreciate it. If nothing else, I have thought of a few things in my head while talking that I'll go work on right now. So I'm going to go do that while I edit and put this up. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random facts come from greenfacts.org. Is mercury found in nature? Of course. Like lead or cadmium, mercury is a constituent element of the earth, a heavy metal. In pure form, it's known alternately as an elemental or metallic mercury, also expressed as Hg0. Mercury is rarely found in nature as the pure liquid metal, but rather with compounds and inorganic salts.